Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me okay and that we are live. Looks like I'm live from my end. We have a few people waiting already. Thank you for joining today. Hello to Stacey. Hello, Beatrice. Welcome back. I hope you can hear me clearly. Let me know if you can in the chat, please. Hi to Silver Paper again. Hello. And Christina, hi. Nice to see you guys here. Silver Paper says, you're right. You were clearly in the last lesson when we were talking about that. Well done. I'm glad you can hear me as well. Thanks for letting me know. Hello to Sowu. Welcome back as well. I hope you're okay and that you've had a great start to the week, guys. What's going on in your world? Here in London, it's a sunny day. Still quite chilly, but nice and sunny. I always start off the live stream with some news or something going on in the UK. But to be honest, there's not much news since last week. Although I enjoyed my weekend last weekend because finally I was allowed to go out for dinner because restaurants finally opened last week. So I went out for some Thai food, which is one of my favorite types of foods. It was delicious. The only problem was that we had to sit outdoors and the weather in England is not quite hot enough for that. So we were freezing and we were eating our pad Thai trembling in the cold. So that was quite funny. But it made a change to go out at least. So I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. Hi to Hannah. Hello to Over the Moon. Welcome back. So thank you for the compliment. I thought I'd wear a bright colour today, brighter colour. Hi to Donghan, welcome back. And SY as well, hello. What's going on in your world? Anything new going on? Anything interesting happening this week? Do we have any birthdays this week? Sometimes we have people saying it was their birthday. It can't believe it's the end of April already. It's crazy. This month has just flown by, as has the year, really. I can't believe it's April already. And, well, end of April already, and May very, very soon. Amongst my family and friends, we have a lot of birthdays in May, June, and July. So the next few months are going to be celebratory months, I suppose. Obviously with restrictions, but it's nice to have something to look forward to, I think, in these times. So today's topic is pronunciation, which I know is a popular one. And lots of my students ask me about pronunciation and they ask me to correct their pronunciation in our lessons as well. So I thought it would be quite interesting to look at 15 words that learners of English often pronounce wrongly. Maybe it's because of silent letters in the word that they were not aware of, or a particular sound in the word which is not pronounced in the same way it's written, that sort of thing. So they can be a bit confusing. So I've picked 15 of the top words that I think my students, from my experience, have pronounced wrongly, which we're going to look at today. Hello to Sue. We've got a couple of other comments. Hello, Over the Moon. You asked me, did you see the academic awards yesterday? I think you mean the Academy Awards. And no, I haven't seen that. Have you? I'm not really into that kind of thing. I don't mind watching clips of it, on Instagram or Facebook or something like later on. But I don't normally watch the whole thing. I used to when I was a teenager. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really follow it that much. Do you? So of course, guys, going back to pronunciation, if you have any questions about pronunciation, please let me know in the chat. Okay. And you know, if there's anything you are not sure of, I can repeat again. Obviously, unfortunately, I can't hear your voices. So I will repeat the words as many times as I can and hope that you are repeating them with me correctly. I'll also show you phonetics to help you as well. So hopefully that will give you a bit of support. Right, so let's get started then, guys. We're going to start off with a few words that I'm going to fit into the food category. Okay, so we've got a couple of categories today. Food categories, you know, as you know, my favorite. So we're going to start with that. I'm just sharing my screen so you can see the words that I'm going to show you and the phonetic alphabet as well, the pronunciation, to help you and guide you along. But as Silver Paper has just said in the chat, shadowing is a good one. So copying me, basically, trying to do it yourselves. So don't just listen, try and repeat in your home, okay, from wherever you are. All right, don't worry if your flatmates or your neighbors think you're crazy. It's all helpful. Okay. Okay, we've got some comments about the film awards. Oh, I didn't realize Tenet had won. Yeah, I watched that film. It was good, but a little bit confusing, to be honest. I find those sorts of films confusing. But I appreciate the visual effects. They were amazing. You're right. You're really right. Okay, so back to pronunciation. So I'm going to share the first word that I've chosen from the food category. Okay. Obviously, as I've said before with anything related to pronunciation, this does depend on your accent sometimes. I'm going to be speaking in my accent, which I think is kind of like a standard British one. And of course, some of these words might be more difficult to pronounce for some listeners than others. Like, you know, some words you might think, oh, I know how to say that. But then there'll be other ones that you don't know how to say. So I've kind of tried to find a mix that will be useful for any person of any nationality. So without further ado, let's begin with number one. We have 15 words today. This is the first one. Now, this one is a common problem because of the letter L in the middle. So a lot of students or learners of English, they forget that the L in this word is actually completely silent. So we don't pronounce any L's. So they make the mistake of saying salmon, salmon. Don't say salmon, okay? It should actually be pronounced like this: salmon, salmon. So as you can hear, it's two syllables, two parts, salmon. The stress or the emphasis is on the first syllable, which is why we have this little accent symbol on the phonetic alphabet. And if you notice, there's no L at all in the phonetics, okay? So completely forget the L and just say salmon, salmon. So it's a and e. So the O at the end of the word becomes a schwa, which if you've watched my pronunciation lessons before, you'll know that the schwa is a very common sound, especially in British English. The schwa is that kind of upside down E symbol that you can see before the N, and it's pronounced e. So we say salmon, salmon. Repeat it after me, okay? Salmon. So this is a type of fish, if you were not sure of that. I've given you a couple of examples in context here. So we have an example here saying Scotland is famous for its salmon. And I ate a smoked salmon sandwich. This one is a little bit of what I would call a tongue twister because of the SSS, smoked salmon sandwich. So it can be a little bit tricky to pronounce, I suppose, but give it a try, could be fun. I ate a smoked salmon sandwich, smoked salmon sandwich, smoked salmon sandwich. I wonder how many times you can say that without muddling it up. So yeah, that's the first one. I hope this is helpful. We have Metahan. Hello. I don't think I've seen you here before. You've been watching videos on cake, have you? Oh, that's great. Well, join me every week here. I'm here every Tuesday, and you can have an extra lesson from me and ask questions on there. So hopefully it will help you with your English studies. We have a question from Tae Young, who says, is it okay to pronounce long AE sound? So it's not actually a long sound, it's a short sound. So it's like in, for example, cat. All right. So it's not the long one like as in car, for instance. It's short So you'd say salmon, salmon. So open your mouth like this, So your mouth is quite wide, and there's kind of quite a wide gap between your lips. So salmon. I hope that helps. Over the Moon says, I'm not a big fan of salmon. I don't mind salmon myself. I don't like smoked salmon very much, but I don't mind fresh salmon. And Donghan says, I've watched Scottish salmons recently in the docu-film Seaspiracy. Oh, I've heard that that's quite an interesting documentary. Would you recommend it? Yeah. Hello to Chris and Lily. Welcome. And SH. That's okay. I'm glad you're here. Welcome back. All right, so moving on to our next word. So we've done salmon, so silent L. Now we're moving on to another food word. Second in our list of 15 is this word. Donghan says totally. So that's a good documentary. All right, I'll have to watch it then. Thanks for letting me know. So this word, this one is a little bit confusing for students because of the ACH at the end of the word. So some students try to pronounce it spinach, but actually it should be pronounced like this, spinach. So the A sounds exactly the same as the the previous vowel. So it's I and I. So spinach. Okay. Yeah, so that can be a bit confusing because obviously it's a different vowel, isn't it? It's an A, but it's actually pronounced exactly the same as the I in this word. So notice, same as salmon, 2 syllables, spinach. But again, we stress the first one more than the second. So we say spinach, spinach, spinach. So try and repeat after me at home, spinach. So I'll give you a couple of examples with the word spinach. So we have dark leafy greens like spinach are important for skin, hair and bone health. There we go. And another example, he ordered a spinach omelette from the brunch menu. Notice omelette as well. That's another word that people get confused with. Because of the E's, they say omelette or omelette, but it's not pronounced that way. It's actually I again. So omelette, omelette. A spinach omelette. Yeah, do you guys like spinach? Or do you prefer other green veggies? Over the Moon says, I guess spinach is more of an acquired taste. Oh, okay. So you're not a big fan then. I see so many of these memes on Instagram where they make fun of spinach because because of the fact that when you buy a bag of spinach, it looks like there's loads in the bag, but then when you cook it, it reduces to 10 times smaller size, which is pretty funny. Donghan says, we eat a lot of spinach as a side dish, banchan with rice. Oh, that sounds really nice and really healthy. Lovely. I think to make the spinach taste good, I guess you need a little bit of oil, a bit of garlic, maybe some chili, or butter instead of oil if you want. Hannah says, I think some of kids don't like this. Yes, I would imagine so, yeah. Don't say some of kids, just say some kids. Yeah. But yeah, I would agree with you. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so that was number 2. So now we're moving on to our third word, still in the food category. Another green is this one. Now, a lot of people pronounce this wrongly. I've heard some of my students say things like lettuce, okay? Because of the U, they get confused and say oos. But actually, it's is. So it's pronounced lettuce, like this. If you have a look at the phonetics, it's that I sound again, that short I. Lettuce, lettuce, okay? Donghan says, wow, that was perfect Korean. You said, oh, wow, thank you. I like that. Brilliant. So now I can order it in a Korean restaurant. So some examples with lettuce. Let's have a look. Okay, so a BLT is a type of sandwich filled with bacon, lettuce, and tomato. I don't know if you guys have ever had a BLT before, or if you call it a BLT. In England, if you say BLT, everybody knows what that is because it stands for that. The B stands for bacon, L stands for lettuce, and T is tomato. Of course, you can add some extra things in there if you want. I like to put a bit of ketchup with it, and it's between 2 pieces of bread, a BLT. And another one which is more, I guess, scientific, over 90% of lettuce is water. Yeah. So yeah, this one is a common problem for students. Remember how to pronounce it. Lettuce, lettuce, lettuce. Try it again, lettuce. Chris B said that's a classic in Subway. Yeah, I can imagine. It's making me hungry just thinking of bacon, to be honest. I love bacon. Well, bacon is very popular in the UK, unless you don't eat it for religious reasons, of course. But otherwise, yeah, really popular. Bacon sandwich, especially in the morning at the weekend. Right, so that was number 3 on our list. Now we're going on to number 4. Again, another food. Let's have a look. Number 4 is this word. Now again, this does depend on where you're from. You might find it easy to say this, but you might not. I've heard some of my students saying things like fruit. Actually, it shouldn't be pronounced like that because of, I guess the reason people might think it's pronounced that way is because of the U and the I. So you kind of think that you need to make a distinction between those 2 vowels. But actually, you don't need to bother with the I so much. You just need a long U sound. So it's actually written phonetically like this. And it's the long U, so it's fruit. Fruit. So don't say fruit or fruit. Say fruit. Fruit. I'll give you a couple of examples with fruit. Here we go. So we have fruit smoothies are a popular morning snack. And the next one, the orchard has over 300 fruit trees. fruit trees. Notice that when we say a word after fruit that begins with a consonant, like smoothies with an S or trees with a T, often when we're speaking quickly, we kind of drop the T sound at the end of fruit. So if I'm speaking quickly, I would say, fruit smoothies are a popular morning snack. Fruit smoothies. So it's kind of like fruit, like that. So the T almost drops. That's because of connected speech. Or in the other one, the orchard has over 300 fruit trees. Because there's two T's there, you don't need to say fruit trees, you see. Fruit trees. Yeah. A comment from Sung-gyun. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Oh, you said this one's an easy one because you're familiar with it. Ah, okay, fair enough. I think this is something more for maybe some European nationality. So I remember some Spanish and Italian students of mine pronouncing this wrongly. So yeah, this is for you if there's anyone from there on the stream today. Over the Moon says, I try to eat in-season fruit every single day. Yeah, that's really great. Nice. I like that. Okay, let's move on to number 5 in our list. Another food. This word. Now, similar to salmon, I suppose, this one's a bit tricky because of the L and the K. So actually the L we don't pronounce, the same as in salmon where we drop the L. In this word we also drop the L. In case you're not sure what this word means, it's the yellow part of an egg. And we pronounce it like this, yolk, yolk. Okay, so it's y, and then we have the O sound, yo, and the K. So there's no L. Some people say yolk, which is wrong. You shouldn't say yolk, you should say yolk. It sounds a bit like Coke, I guess, the drink. So Coke, instead of a K, you're saying y. So if you can say that, then you say yolk. Okay, so this is the yellow part inside an egg. The white part, we call it white. All right, so let me show you some examples with yolk. So here we have an example. Some recipes require you to separate the egg whites from the yolk, or from the yolks. I like my eggs with a runny yolk. Okay. So yeah, some questions. Let's have a look at the chat again. Stacey has asked a question about the previous example. What's the meaning of orchard? An orchard is a garden where they grow fruit, basically. So there's trees, fruit trees. We call it an orchard. So you can have an apple orchard, for example. Okay, good question. Donghan says, what about Yorkshire? The pronunciation is Yorkshire. Okay, so you say shire at the end, Yorkshire. Americans tend to pronounce it Shire, Yorkshire, but we say Yorkshire. Yeah. Taeyang has a question about yolk. How can I pronounce differently between York and yolk? So it's a different vowel sound. So in the first word, you say York. So it's or. Obviously, I'm pronouncing it with a soft R. If you're somebody who pronounces the R strongly, like Americans do, you would say York, York. So you're kind of R. But I would say York. So it's York. And the other word, the egg part, is yolk. O. So it's the difference is or and O. York and yolk. Okay, so do you hear the difference there? Let me know. Over the Moon says meringue pie. Yes, if you're making a meringue, you would definitely need to separate the egg whites from the yolks. Yeah. Do you like a runny yolk when you have eggs? So if you go to a cafe and order brunch and you get eggs, do you like to have a runny yolk? Runny meaning liquidy, or do you prefer a hard harder yolk? Let me know in the chat. Okay, we have one more in the food category to add. And it's this word, which I'm going to show you, number 6. So SH says no to runny yolks. Okay, you prefer a firmer yolk. Donghan says runny yolk goes perfectly with rice. Yeah, I would imagine so. You can mix it in, right? Delicious. Yeah. We have a debate here, runny or hard. All right, so next word is this one. This one is a bit confusing because of the letter A at the end. So we actually don't pronounce the A. So a lot of people try and say something like cocoa, but we don't actually say it that way in English. We say it like this, cocoa, cocoa. So it's actually the same sound in the middle and at the end. So it's O, cocoa. The meaning of this could be two things. So it could either be the dark brown powder that's made from cocoa beans of a tree, tropical tree, or it could be a hot drink which you make by mixing cocoa powder, like chocolate powder, with milk and sugar, etc. So it's like a hot chocolate, I guess. Yeah. So we pronounce it cocoa. Some of you are debating the eggs and saying, Hannah says, I prefer hard yolk. Over the Moon says, I don't like to eat sunny side up. Me neither, actually. I prefer it over easy. Yeah. Okay, so some examples with cocoa. Dark chocolate has a high cocoa content. And I sat in the cafe drinking a cup of cocoa. So as you can see in the second example, it's the drink version, similar to a hot chocolate. Okay. So yeah, this one's a bit confusing because of the A. Try to forget about the A and just say cocoa. O-O, cocoa, like that. Okay, I think that's all for food. We're going to move on to another category now. But please let me know if you have any questions about the ones we've done so far or any comments. But we're moving on to one which is, useful for any of you who are interested in fashion or shopping, maybe, something like that. So we're going on to number 7. Number 7, our word is this one. Now, this one's a tricky one for a lot of learners, no matter where you're from. It's hard to pronounce, I think, mainly because of the fact that you've got the th sound, the th, and then it's followed by the vowel s, which sounds like a z. Also, a lot of learners make the mistake of separating it into 2 syllables and saying something like clothes. We don't do that. It should be only 1 syllable. And it should sound like this. Clothes. Clothes. So the hard part is the th, like that, I guess. Clothes. Clothes. So you're doing the sound, which is when you put your tongue between your teeth. The, like that. And then the S at the end is like a Z, so it's clothes. Clothes. Let me give you an example with this word in it. So here we go. An example could be, I bought some new clothes for the trip. Or she was wearing casual clothes. Okay. So try and repeat it after me if you have difficulty with this word, clothes. Now remember, this is different to the word close, like close the door. Okay. The difference is that the sound that you need to add. So if I say close, close the door, and clothes, clothes. We have an example sentence from Over the Moon who says, I took the plunge on a clothes dryer a few years ago. Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, they're very useful, aren't they? I don't have one of those at the moment. I sold mine. I'm hanging them up on a clothes horse, which is like a kind of plastic or wooden frame, I guess you could call it, that you could put your clothes on. Tae Young says, oh, it's too hard. Yeah, it's a difficult one. I know this is hard. Try and practice it in front of a mirror. Clothes. Clothes. All right, we have an example here as well. I got brand new clothes. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Chris says it's hard to pronounce the Z part smoothly. Yeah, I think that's the difficult part. The the and then the Z. Yeah, it's really hard. But once you practice it, you'll get used to it. I'll come back hopefully at the end and say these words again. Let's move on to another one related to clothes. Which is this word, number 8, that people often get wrong because of the vowel sound in the middle. Some people try to pronounce it as sweet, but actually it's not sweet. It should be similar to fruit that we had earlier, the UI in the middle of fruit. It's the same here. We pronounce it suit, so it's a long U sound, ooh, suit. Okay, so the same as fruit. Fruit, suit. Okay. But I've heard a lot of students saying sweet. Okay, so I just wanted to point this one out. If it was the word sweet, it would be spelt in the same way with an added E at the end. But the meaning is different. This would mean, you know, when you go to a hotel and you book one of the most expensive rooms where you have a bed, a bathroom, and then you have like a kind of living area, like a lounge area as well. We call this a suite. Okay. So you could say, for example, we booked the honeymoon suite at the hotel, but that's spelt with an E at the end. This word is pronounced suit, and of course it has different meanings. As a noun, it could be you know, like a jacket, shirt, and trousers. Okay, that's a suit, or maybe a skirt. Suit. Or it could be used as a verb, of course. If you say, for example, that suits you, it means that looks good on you. It looks, you know, you suit that color, for example. So some of you have written some comments about this. Silver Paper says sweet / sweet, same pronounced? Yes, exactly. So if you write this word with an E at the end, it sounds the same as sweet, as in like sugary, sweet, SWEET. Same pronunciation exactly. That's right. And Crispy says ensuite room. Exactly. Yeah, so if it's an ensuite, it means you've got the room and the bathroom right inside the room. So yeah, ensuite. This word is pronounced suit. I'll give you a couple of examples. So using the noun form, they won't let you into the restaurant without a suit and tie. Okay. And then as a verb, you could say something like, blue suits you. You should wear it more often. Okay, so this means blue looks good on you. So it's a nice color for you. Okay. Both are pronounced in the same way, suit. So it's the long oo sound. Hello, Chan. That's okay. I'm glad you've joined us. Okay, guys, we're going to move on to number 9 now. And number 9, again, related to clothing, I suppose, is this word. This one's a bit hard to pronounce because of the L and the R that comes straight after that. Just remember that this word has 2 syllables, okay? So it's not jewellery, it's not like lots of syllables, it's just 2, so it's jewelry, 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 jewelry. So it looks like this in phonetics, like this. Jewelry. Jewelry. Okay. Jewelry, in case you're wondering, is the word we use for things like necklaces, rings, earrings, bracelets. So all of those things you can call jewelry. Okay. A couple of questions about the previous one. Over the Moon says formal suit above the waist, casual clothes below the waist, Zoom wear. Exactly, yes, you were listening to that one when we talked about COVID speak. Nice one. Silver Paper says, then can I say that black suit suits you? Yes, you can. Yeah, I mean, it's quite a mouthful. It's quite tricky to say. It's a tongue twister. But yes, you can, of course. You can say that black suit suits you. Definitely, makes sense. And Donghan, Barney in How I Met Your Mother, suit up. Yes, exactly. I love Barney, so funny. Okay, a couple of examples with jewelry now. So here we go. She inherited the family jewelry. If you're not sure of the meaning of inherited, this is when somebody passes away, somebody dies in your family, and you get some of their belongings, like money or jewelry or something like that. So she inherited the family jewelry. And the other one is the nurse asked her to remove all her jewelry. So maybe she was having an operation or something, so she'd have to remove her jewelry. Hannah says, I saw this word in another video of Britcent. Yes, actually, I did one on pronunciation, and this was one of the words, I'm pretty sure. It's a tricky one. Chris says, my tongue is getting numb. Yeah, well, I'm glad you're repeating after me, which is a good way of practicing. So keep going. We're nearly there, over halfway through. Okay, so that one is a tricky one, number 9. Now, again, talking about clothes, we can't go without talking about number 10, which is this word. So in American English, they like to use the word closet. We don't say this in Britain. We don't use this word. Instead, we use this word on my screen. So this is the place where you keep your clothes in the bedroom, usually. It's a bit tricky to pronounce, I guess, because of the RDR in the middle. But this is how we would say it here. Most people would say wardrobe. Wardrobe. So like I've mentioned before, we tend to drop the R sound, especially when there's a consonant after it. So the first R you can forget about and instead just lengthen the vowel. So we say war, war. And then obviously you say the next one. So you say wardrobe, wardrobe. Try it with me. Wardrobe. So it's 2 syllables. Wardrobe. I'll give you an example with wardrobe. So they have a built-in wardrobe. And I need to clear out my wardrobe. There's so much I never wear. I'm sure some of you can relate to this. I certainly can. I think I do this twice a year. Sorting out my wardrobe, clearing it out, getting rid of things I don't need. A question here, what's mean? Which one are you talking about? Can you let me know which example you are talking about and I'll help you. But wardrobe, in case you didn't hear that, is like a cupboard where you keep your clothes. So it's for clothing, okay? In America, they say closet. In England, we say wardrobe. Okay, so this is a good one to learn. Exactly, Donghan, that's exactly what it is, a kind of furniture. A piece of furniture where you keep your clothes. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so I think we're done with clothes now. Now we're going to move on to some random words. So these are no particular theme or anything, just random words that people might find tricky to pronounce. The first one which is actually number 11, is this one. How would you pronounce this word? Think about how you would say it. In case you're not sure what it means, it's actually an officer in the army or in the Marines or the US Air Force. So it's a kind of rank, a high rank in those sort of forces. The difficult thing about this one is that the L in the middle is not pronounced at all. So a lot of people might think it's pronounced colonel or something like that. But actually, it's pronounced like this, colonel, colonel. So it's 2 syllables, and the first one is cur, and the second is null, colonel, colonel. So I don't know if you guys are fans of KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, but the Colonel is a famous character. Maybe you know the picture of the old gentleman with the grey hair and glasses who represents KFC. I'm going to give you an example here. The second example is about him. So the first one, colonel, is a senior military officer rank used in many countries. And the second example, Colonel Sanders was an American businessman best known for founding Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC. I know that KFC is very popular in a lot of countries, especially in Japan. I think they eat it for Christmas or around Christmas time, which is really interesting. For me, because we don't do that. Brilliant. So yeah, colonel, that's how we pronounce this word. Very tricky, right? Because you'd see it and think it's pronounced colonel, but actually, colonel. Okay, so that was number 11. We've got a few more to go. Let's go on to number 12 before we run out of time. So this one, number 12, again, random word is this. This is a bit confusing because of the spelling. People might think that it's pronounced something like gouge or goug, I guess. But actually, it's not pronounced like that at all. It's pronounced gauge, gauge. So it's gauge. A couple of comments about the previous one, Colonel. Tae Young says it sounds like canal. I guess so, but just be careful of the stress there, because when you say that word, C-A-N-A-L, you have to stress the second syllable. So you say canal, canal. The word I showed you in number 11 is pronounced colonel, colonel. So it's a bit different because it's stressed at the beginning. Silver Paper says KFC egg tart is very good. Oh, I've never had that, but it sounds great. So this word, I realised that maybe this is a word you might not know, gauge. So I'm going to explain it. There's 2 forms. So the noun is an instrument that we use for measuring something, like to measure the level of something. For example, in your car, you have the fuel gauge, which is where you can see how much petrol you have left, how much fuel you have. That's called the gauge, and it's pronounced like this, and it's written in this way. You can also use it as a verb with that meaning, to gauge something. So if you want to measure something accurately using an instrument. The other meaning of gauge is to make a judgment about something. So judging someone's feeling or attitude, to gauge. Okay. There are a couple of other meanings which are more specific, but these are the more general ones that I think would be useful for you. So let me show you an example with both noun and verb. So the verb, he tried to gauge her mood before asking her for a favor. So So as you can see, this means he tried to kind of figure out what mood she was in. Was she in a good mood, a bad mood, before asking this favor? And then the noun form that I just explained would be the fuel gauge was reading empty. So you don't want to see that when you get into your car, especially if you have a long journey ahead. So yeah, that was gauge. Yeah, a bit confusing because of the spelling, but yeah, quite easy to pronounce once you know how it is pronounced. Okay. Hannah says, I sometimes use this word, but I didn't know the spelling. Yeah, okay, well, there we go. Now you know. In American English, actually, they spell it a bit differently. They drop the U. They spell it G-A-G-E. But in England, Britain, we write it with a U. Right, moving on to number 13. This one is a bit confusing, I guess, because of the stress of the word. So some people might want to pronounce it infamous, but it's not pronounced that way. Obviously, famous is pronounced famous, but when you put in at the beginning, it's pronounced like this, infamous, infamous. So if you notice, we have the schwa again, infamous. So the stress is at the beginning of the word, as you can see the little accent, and it's stressed there with in, but the rest is famous, infamous. This is an adjective, and it means that someone or something is well known, but well known in a bad way, well known for being bad or evil or doing something wrong. Okay, similar to notorious, if you know that word. Okay. So some examples I found with infamous. Let's have a look. So Al Capone was an infamous American gangster. So obviously, because he was a gangster, he did things that were illegal. So we can use the word infamous to show this. Everybody knows him because of this. And Auschwitz was the most infamous Nazi concentration camp. So it's well known for something bad that happened there. Infamous. Okay. So try and pronounce that with me again. Infamous. Infamous. That's it. Over the Moon says, an infamous figure in the Watergate scandal. Yes, yes, that's a good way of using it. Well done. Very nice. Okay, we have 2 more to go. So we're going to move on to number 14 of our random words. Number 14 is this word. Now this one I've heard pronounced quite differently. So some of my students have pronounced it chaos. Chaos. But it's not a, it's actually pronounced K. Chaos. I'll show you the phonetics. Chaos. So 2 syllables. Chaos. Chaos. The meaning of this word, in case you don't know, is when there is a lack of order. So everything is messy. There's complete disorder and mess. Chaos. Okay, so be careful of that A sound. All right, don't say chaos. Say chaos. Chaos. It's the universe. Yes, at the moment everything's in chaos, you're right. Let me show you an example with chaos. So you could say, the house was in chaos after the party. Or, heavy snow has caused total chaos on the roads. So this means that the roads are busy, crazy, there's a lot of traffic, it's, yeah, lots of disruptions, okay, chaos. A couple of comments here. Donghan says, you don't pronounce V sound in Auschwitz, didn't know that. Well, in English we would say Auschwitz, maybe they pronounce it a bit differently in German. But yeah, we say Auschwitz. Yeah. And I know that clearly because Joker said that the word in the film Dark Knight. Ah, okay, brilliant. Good memory. Okay, so our final word, number 15, we've made it to the end of the list, is, drum roll please, this word. This is a very tricky word for a lot of people because they often try to pronounce it with 4 syllables by saying comfortable, comfortable. But actually, it should be pronounced with 3 syllables, like so. Comfortable, comfortable. So you're stressing the first one and you're separating it into 3 parts. So comfortable. Basically, you have to kind of forget about the middle OR. So don't bother with that when you're speaking and just say comfortable, comfortable. It's a bit tricky, I guess, because of the ft sound in the middle, but you can do it. Just keep practicing, okay? And try to remember when you see this word, you should pronounce it with 3 parts. Comfortable, comfortable. Chris B says, like vegetable. Yes, exactly, Chris. Yeah, so vegetable is another one. Don't say vegetable. Say vegetable. So 3 syllables. Okay. So let me give you a couple of examples with comfortable. So you can say, these new shoes are not very comfortable. Or, please make yourself comfortable while I get us some coffee. Okay, so make yourself comfortable. This is a nice expression if somebody comes to your office or to your house and you want to tell them to sit down, relax, make yourself comfortable. And yeah, that is the end of our list of 15. We've made it, guys. I hope this has helped. We don't have time for a mini quiz today, but I'll make sure that we do one next week. Before we go, however, I'm just going to repeat the 15 words that we had today one more time, and I want you to shadow with me, okay? So I'm going to say them once each, and when I say them, I want you to repeat at home with me. Okay, so we're going back to number 1. Are you ready? Let me know in the chat if you're ready to shadow and to copy what I'm saying. Chris B says, my tongue refuses to move anymore. I get that. It's been a long day, I imagine. Okay, here we go. One more time, guys. Let's go for number 1. Salmon. 2. Spinach. 3. Lettuce. 4. Fruit. 5. Yolk. 6. Cocoa. 7. Clothes. 8. Suit. 9. Jewelry. 10. Wardrobe. 11. Kernel. 12. Gauge. 13. Infamous. 14. Chaos. And our last one, comfortable. Okay, I hope that helps. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed that live stream. And hopefully the next time you try to say these words, you'll think of me, you'll think of this live stream, and you'll remember how we said it here today. Okay, I hope it was helpful. You're very welcome, guys. Thank you for joining me. It's been fun. Don't forget to join me next week. I'm here every Tuesday, same time. So it's 2 p.m. GMT on our YouTube channel. And please don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel click a reminder and come and join me every Tuesday. Okay, thank you so much. I'll see you next week. Take care of yourselves and have a lovely week. Bye-bye.